So I got these adorable angel molds from Into Resin, and I'm going to be using the Baltic chrome powders at the beginning of the video, and then as I go on I'm using the Let's Resin chrome powders, and they're very similar. The only difference between them is that the Baltic chrome powders, you get 16 different colors, but they're smaller containers. The Let's Resin ones, you get 8 colors and they're twice the size, and I think it's about the same price, so it's pretty equivalent. The only thing that I'm using different is for her face. I wanted a lighter color, so I had a Bond Craftor real pale gold, and I put that for the face, the feet, and the hands. And then for the hair and the wings I used the Baltic chrome powders. So yeah, I did the hair, the wings, and then that little stripe that goes across the bottom of it and on her dress at the bottom. And I did both of them the same, and you have to tip them over and tap 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 on the back of them to get the powder out, because you don't want it to mix with the other resin that you pour in. It's really important that you do a good cleanup on it and get all that excess powder out. My main concern with the chrome powders is they are so intense that if you don't shake out all the excess, it will mix with the other resin that you put in there and will show through. That's what happened to me in a previous project. Make sure you get it all cleaned out so that none of it floats. The resin I'm using throughout this project is Bond Craftor epoxy resin. This is their casting resin. Anyway, once I was done with that, I mixed up my resin, and in my resin I put a little bit of the crushed crystal. So just a small amount, not a whole bunch, and poured that into each of the angels. And I felt like one of them had more crushed crystal than the other, so I pinched a little bit out of the container and sprinkled it on top of one of the angels. So these little angels I got from Into Resin, and they're $12.99 for 2 of them, plus you can use my 20% discount code. I'm getting used to a new camera, and I thought I was filming and I wasn't. So I actually demolded the 2 little angels and then poured again using gold foil, and I promise you I'm going to show you these all up close. And so the 2 little angels have gold foil in them, and then I did 2 larger angels with gold foil. And now I'm going to re-pour all of them again, making those 2 little ones that had the crushed crystal in it darker white, because I like the crushed crystal, but it just needs to be less transparent. And I'm going to pour the same white. It's going to have crushed crystal, but when you put a lot of crushed crystal in it, what happens is it makes it white, like a frosted mica powder. So here I'm going to start with painting the little angels the same way I did the very first time, with the wings and the hair and whatnot. And then for the other 2 angels that I have there, I'm going to paint just the wings gold. And then for the last angel, which is an Into Resin mold, I'm just going to pour it with a little bit of crushed crystal in it. So the very last large angel is also an Into Resin mold, and it's a super pretty mold. I actually did a video on it last Christmas, making a bunch of different angels with it. Here I am mixing up the resin like I first talked about, and the one I'm mixing now just has a little bit of crushed crystal in it, and it's going to go in the large angel. And then the other one has a lot of crushed crystal in it, and that's going to go in the first 4 angels. So all of the resin went through the bubble removal machine and then was poured into all the angels. So now it's the next day, and I'm just setting these ones out. These are the ones that I had done before. And again, I will show you these up closer, and I'm going to be doing more to them. You can see that one I poured a little bit thicker than the first one. But I'm going to try to do a lot of these with glass art. So I'm just setting all the other ones back out, and I can't find the the other angel. I found this one, but I can't find the other one. I must have it on the table somewhere. So anyway, I'm going to demold them. And remember, these little angels, I ended up putting more of the crushed crystal in because I wanted it more opaque. And I think it turned out real pretty that way. There you can see it a little bit closer. And I'm going to do more to these. These are going to go on. I'm going to be doing different projects with all of them. So I have some really cute ideas that I hope you're going to like. So anyway, that's the first one. And then the other one, that one is kind of a sideways angel. And you can use it as an ornament. It actually has a hole already drilled in the one wing. And this one has 2 holes drilled in the wing, and you can both of the wings, and you can hang this also. I might make a few as ornaments, but I'm going to do something different with them, and I just think that one's so pretty too. I like it being darker. And these I also poured the crushed crystal and just put a whole bunch in so that it was more of an opaque white. And I like this angel too. That's super pretty. And then the very last one, I'm a little bit confused about. I'm not sure what. So on the very top, it has a halo, but then it has a bump on the top of her head. Does anybody know what that's supposed to be? I'm really not sure. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be making any more of those. So you can see the halo, but I don't understand what the bump is up at the top. And this is the last one, and this one is so pretty, but look at how I over poured it. And if you're having a problem getting that off because this had really hardened, just use your heat gun, soften it, and it pulls right off. The only problem is if you get it in tight spaces, if it's around the edges, it just pulls right off once you soften it. But when you get it in tight spaces like that, it's probably in your best interest to soften it, because if you keep it really hard and try to snap it off, you might snap part of the angel off. So this actually took a few minutes to get this all done, but and I do have it in fast forward, but I was able to clean it all out because I heated it up and it made it so soft. I just think this one is so pretty with all those facets like that. So I started decorating a couple of them, and these two, you really didn't notice, but they have hearts. They're holding hearts. So I used a metallic red and painted the hearts. And then these two, I painted the wings and the hair gold, and I painted gold on the back of the one, and somehow I got gold on the back of the other, but I don't really think I like it. I think maybe if I put white on the back. And then these two were the more opaque white ones, and I haven't painted the heart on that yet. And this one I just painted the halo gold, and I think I painted gold all the way around the outside, around the perimeter of it. And this one I painted around the heart and around the perimeter. And I need to fill in on those edges there where I couldn't reach. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And the same with these. I painted all the way around the perimeter. I think that looks pretty like that. And yeah, maybe I'll do around the outside too. I haven't done that yet. And then this, I didn't do anything with except for get gold on it by touching it with my fingers. I got to get that off. But isn't that pretty? I just love that mold. And I'm going to paint the halo gold. And that also serves as something to put your put a little tie on to hang it on the Christmas tree. So the way I get into those little crevices with the marker, because the marker actually doesn't fit in there, is I take this marker and I just keep on pressing it down and shaking it and pressing it down and pressing it down, and it will leave a teeny tiny puddle of the paint there. And then you have to quickly, before it dries, grab your paintbrush and wipe it up and then get into those crevices, because otherwise the marker just does not fit in there. And you kind of have to repeat this over and over and over again until you get in all those areas that are so hard to get at. So I hadn't painted two of the hearts, and so I went ahead and painted those with these. They're called Super Golden Markers. I think J. Diction has some too, but these are not made by J. Diction. Anyway, the red is real pretty and very metallic looking. So I finished that up. I finished adding some gold in some areas that I had either missed or just needed touch up. And then after I got done with that, I actually added a 2mm rhinestone chain to some areas on the larger angels. I'm going to be making a whole bunch of these little angels, using them in different ways and kind of experimenting with them. And I mixed up some more resin, and in the one cup I'm just going to have clear resin, and in the other cup I'm going to mix some white pigment paste along with some mica powder. This isn't the crushed crystal, it's the eye candy, I think snowflake. It's very, very similar to the crushed crystal. I just wanted an opaque white, but I wanted some sparkle to it. And then I put it in the bubble removal machine and poured the clear into the larger angel, but just halfway full. These look better if you're going to add color to it, if you leave one layer of clear and then put the color on top of the clear and then pour more resin over that. So I have to let this first layer of clear set up. So this is a few hours later. They were on my heat table and I demolded the two, and they're very pretty. They look very similar to the ones with just the crushed crystal. But you know, that crushed crystal is very expensive, so being that it looked very similar, you might want to just add some of the crushed crystal or another white frosty mica powder to a white pigment paste if you're going to get the same look, because the pigment paste goes a lot further than the mica powder does, I think. So anyway, there's the first two, and then here's the third one. And on this third one, I don't know if you can notice it, but I do. But on the front of her, she has a little area that I must not have cleaned the gold off. And there's a little bit of gold on her too. You probably can't see it. I'll show it to you closer in a little while. So in the meanwhile, I got two other mica powders out. One is the Let's Resin Silver Chrome Powder. The other is the Let's Resin Silver Holographic. And I'm doing these two little angels again, painting the face gold, but I'm painting the wings and the hair with the silver chrome powder. The face, the hair, and then that little line across the bottom for those two. So for the two larger angels, I'm using the holographic silver powder. So I paint the entire inside and sides of this with the holographic silver powder from Let's Resin. And then for the largest angel, remember, the largest angel has a layer of clear resin that is already cured. I'm using that Deco Foil Transfer Gel. All it is a tacky glue. You can use any tacky glue, any kind of glue that dries tacky or sticky. And I'm using the little heat gun. It makes it dry twice as fast. And then I'm taking again the holographic Let's Resin Silver mica powder, and I'm painting it right onto the tacky glue. In one of my previous videos, I tried to paint mica powder right onto the resin, the cured resin, because remember, this is the one that I filled half full with clear resin. And you can't paint right on top of clear resin. You have to have it tacky, something sticky underneath for it to adhere to. So that's what I did with that. And then again, so for this I mixed up, because I was doing the resin with the white, I'm doing the mica powder and pigment paste again, just so I don't have to use as much mica powder, because that seems to be more expensive. And I'm pouring this into all three of them. And I believe that with these metallic mica powders from Let's Resin, It doesn't make a difference what color you back it with. It looks the same on the front. Now the chameleon powders are totally different. The chameleon powders from Let's Resin are totally different depending on whether you back it with black or with white. They look different. But these chrome powders from Let's Resin, they look the same no matter what you back it with. You could even put clear resin in it if you want. But I just happen to need the white for those other two, so I thought I would just mix them all up the same way and pour it in. And that's what I did. Here I'm just showing you a few of them up close. I've got gold all over my hands, but I've painted the hearts red. Look how pretty that is. I got gold on the back of it, which shows through. I made such a mess with that gold marker. And then you can see these, I painted the hearts red on them. I think those angels are so pretty. And I really like the gold. I do some more later with silver wings and silver hair, but I like the gold the best. And going through this super fast, I demold these. And the only thing that's different between the little angels and the ones I did prior to this is I did the wings and the hair with silver chrome. And I also, that little line on the front. And I'm just using the heat gun to heat up the overpour that I had. It's so much easier to get off. You don't have to use a deburring tool or anything. You can just pull it right off when you heat it up like that. And like I said, I have to do some finishing work on it, painting and that, the heart and whatnot. But they're pretty much the same as the gold ones, just silver. Then these two are real pretty. The one I did is the smaller of the two large angels. I did with the holographic, what is it called? The holographic mica powder, silver mica powder from Let's Resin. And that's real pretty, I think. But wait till you see this other one. Because of the facets in it and being the holographic, it makes it look crazy. It's so pretty. And again, a bunch of overpour, and I just pulled that off. That takes me a few minutes to get all of that off, but look at how pretty this turned out. I should have it out in the sun so you can see it. Look at that. I think it's crazy. Look at how it makes it shine. I don't know if it's because it's the holographic. I feel like I should have filled this 3/4 instead of half full. I'll do another one half full. So I'm going to start preparing some frames for all of these, but I wanted to show you these quick. I got these from Into Resin, and these are smaller frames, and you can see the size of them compared to, and all four of them are like this, compared to the frames that we get on Amazon. But look at how it has a different type of a stand. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to be using a couple of these. The heart one I'm not going to be using, and the shell one I'm not going to be using, but the other two I am going to be using. And right there you can see the difference between the size of the frames. I don't think they're quite double, but almost. And like I said, I'm just going to be using 2 of them. I'm not using the heart or the shell, maybe in another video. But in addition to those, I'm also going to be using those other 2. And all of these over here. So I'm going to do the outlines of them in a lot of different ways. For those of you who have these molds, you know that what you can do with them. And for those of you who have never worked with them, it's a really neat mold because it's like all in one. You get the substrate to put your resin or glass art on, and you also get the stands. So right next to most of them, there's the little stands that you put together, and you can set it right up in that. Now the one that I'm painting now, I don't know if I'm using the silver or the holographic, I can't remember, but I'm using one of them, and I'm just painting the perimeter of it. And this one is a little different than the other one. So what you see of the oval frames now, that's actually the back. But I'm probably going to be using the back for most of them just because it's easier. This one that I was painting right there, I'm actually going to be using the front. I'm going to paint the frame on it. Then I'm going to fill it with resin, and then I'm going to flip it over. And when I flip it over, there's still a little indent, so I can pour a little bit of resin in and then put whatever I want on it. So once I'm done with the silver, I move on to the other one and do the gold chrome powder all the way around it, and then of course clean it, do all the cleanup. So this next hour, I'm going to try to condense down to 2 minutes, believe it or not. So all of these other frames, all I'm going to do is fill in around the perimeter with different finishes. And you can see I have the gold glitter out there. I'm just mixing up my resin now, and I do make kind of a mess, and I'm trying to get it just around the perimeter. But if some of it goes in the middle, it's okay. It can cure there. And then before I pour the clear resin, I can clean it out. So here you can see I just poured the clear resin with a little bit of crushed crystal into the silver and gold framed ones. And then I'm putting resin with red glitter. And I think I mixed too much up because I end up having to use it for 2 or 3 of them, maybe even 4, I don't know. And those two, I'm using the gold glitter too. And the red glitter is actually from Sia from Amazon. And and these 2 little angels, this time I'm doing them again in the gold, but I'm putting red, I'm using up my red glitter in those angels just to see what they would look like with glitter. And then you can see I'm going on just filling in the perimeters of all of these frames and finishing up the angels. And I do end up with some resin left, and I pour it 3/4 full in the large angel and then fill up all those little stands for the picture frames. And that's how I use up the rest of my resin. I ended up mixing up, I think, 3 8-ounce cups. So here I am back at the other side. I don't know if you can see them all, but yeah, that's how I use the rest of the resin up. And that one I painted with the silver Let's Resin holographic, I think. And then I had a little bit of resin left, but right about then my camera died on. So I demold these 2 that I had filled all the way to the top with resin. And you can see on this one here, so once you tip it over, it has a little recess there where you can pour resin and then put your angel or whatever you're putting on it. So the same with the other one. So I'm wanting to try out this new product that I got called Chameleon Flakes from Let's Resin, but they're new ones. They're called Mirror White. And I'm just going to varnish them onto the angel there and see what it looks like. You're going to be very surprised at how pretty it turns out. One of the angels I did that way, and then for the other angel I mixed it in resin and poured it into it. And then with the remaining resin that had the chameleon flakes in it, I poured it onto these 2 different picture frame molds and then put the angels on with the little leaves. I guess they're holly leaves. So I think these last 3 that I did, I just poured clear resin over it and then put the angels back on. But the very last one, the 4th one that I had already poured the resin on with the chameleon flakes in the corner there, I wanted more chameleon flakes, so I ended up just dipping my hand in the chameleon flakes and sprinkling it on, and I kind of made a mess, so I was trying to straighten it all out with a popsicle stick there. So hopefully it turns out okay. Then this is them after they've cured. So that one I did upside down, but it looks fine. It looks like it has the frame around it. That turned out pretty. And then these other 2 that I did on the fronts that had the low recess turned out super pretty. I really like those frames. I got those on Amazon. They're a little bit more expensive than the round and square frames, and that one's real pretty. This one, I think this one I might have poured too thin. I might have to re-pour that. And these turned out super pretty. So that had the chameleon flakes, and that's comparing it to the crushed crystal. So Yeah, the one on the left had the chameleon flakes, the one on the right, the crushed crystal. And that's the one where I varnished the chameleon flakes in. And isn't that pretty? It has like a mirror-like effect. It's not like the Let's Resin chrome powder. It's much more mirror-like. And you can kind of see through it a little. You can see my finger through it, but I really like that. That might be good for a nightlight. I don't know. I'm going to have to see. But anyway, I think those turned out pretty. And then this one I ended up doing with the gold. That's real pretty. I got a lot of excess on there I got to pull off. But remember, I did the other one with the silver, 1/2 full, and then varnished it on. This I filled with the clear 2/3 full, and it's further away from the front, and I think it looks better like that. But I think that's really pretty. And that's it after it's been cleaned up some. It really is nice with the effect, the faceted effect on the front. This is the one that I put the extra chameleon flakes on. It kind of looks like snow. That's the special mirrored chameleon flakes. Real pretty. And these are just the two smaller frames that I poured with the little stands. And I'm just trying to see what I might like put on those for my next pour. Those are really cute. Here's the two sets of chrome powders that Let's Resin sells. The only difference between the two are the colors, and one of the sets contains 2 holographic colors. And I keep on saying that whether you back them in black or back them in white, it doesn't make a difference. They both look the same. And then I thought, well, do I even know that? so I ended up filling them all with black. I colored the first set is the first 2 rows, and the next set is the next 2 rows, all with black and then all with white. And then here's me demolding them, and like a dummy, these are matte molds that I put them in, so it doesn't really show you how pretty they are. But look at, I have them side by side, black and white, and a couple of them look a little bit different whether you use black or white, but for the most part they're very, very similar. The pinks and the gold looks a little bit different, and I almost feel like the white is a prettier color behind it. So here you could see how they mainly look the same. So the first set is the first 2 rows, and the second set with the holographic is the next 2 rows. In case you're thinking of buying any, you can see what the different colors are that come in them. But they are much prettier if they're in a shiny mold. And then these are the ones that I just did last night. So now I'm pouring some more resin into each of the frames, and 4 of the frames are flipped upside down, and I've burnished the different red, gold, blue, and pink in. And then these other 2 ones I'm actually putting the angels on that I had demolded in the last scene. And you can see the pink and the blue frames. Well, I made pink and blue angels. You can see they're colored up there in the corner, and I'm going to pour resin in those in a second and let those set up. And here I am demolding everything, and those had a little bit of over pour on them, but aren't those pretty, the 2 top left-hand ones? And then I love the pink and the blue. I can't wait to see the angels, how they turned out. And these are real pretty too. I love those smaller frames, especially for the angels, because the angels are a little bit small, and they fit. This one I think I was having a problem getting in. Oh no, maybe that one was the one I was having a problem. I don't know. But they go right. Sometimes you have to kind of push a little, and you do want them tight because you don't want them flopping out of there. So it's a good idea. And you can glue them in there, but I think those would be so cute to sell around Christmas time. I just think they're adorable. And here I'm showing you the difference in the colors. So because I did that on the matte, it doesn't show as pretty as on a shiny surface. So that's the difference. I shouldn't have used the matte. I didn't realize it was a matte mold, the ones that I did the examples on. But aren't those pink and blue angels adorable? And so that shows you there's a little bit of difference in the color. I guess. I think it's shinier on the angel and around the perimeter of the frame. And then here's a bunch more that I did. Put the resin on them, and I'm just going through this super fast just so you can get an idea of how many I've done. It's just been crazy. And this poor the largest one with the rectangular gold frame, you can see how the little angel is floating to the side. And unfortunately, I guess I didn't go back and check them, or I checked it and kept on pushing it back. But when I ended up demolding it, she had kind of gone all the way over to the other side. I mean, it still looks cute, but I really should have went back one more time and checked it. And I keep on making more and more of those little holly leaves, and all I have is 2 molds. So, and I want to put a bunch of them, at least 2 on each one. So I end up ordering some more of them from Amazon. There's actually a link where you can get 4 of those holly molds for I think $4.99 or something. And then here I'm just showing you a couple more little angels that I've made. And these ones I did with the red glitter like I had done the others, but this is with the real fine red glitter, and I really like the fine red glitter on these angels a lot better than the chunky. And at the end I'll show you them all side by side in case you want to make one. That way you can see what the difference is. So on the Into Resin site, they show the angels done a different way. And if you can see in that picture there, she has clear wings, her face and her hair is all white. And then there's some clear resin with some flowers. So I thought I would try to do it that way. But I decided I didn't want the hair all white, so I did it gold again. But then I went on to try to do the rest the same way. And what I did was I got white UV resin and filled in the face. After cleaning it up, filled in the face with the white UV resin, and also the hands and the heart, the arms, the hands, the heart. And then I put the UV light on it, and then I went ahead and did the same thing to the next one. Well, I started filling it in with UV resin clear, but then I realized I hadn't put the stripe at the bottom, so I put the pink one and the yellow one, and then filled the one up with clear UV resin for a basis to hold the little flowers to, and then I put a bunch of little flowers around. I wish I had some more smaller flowers. That great big purple one, I'm not sure how that's going to look. Then I cured that, and then I went on to do the same thing to the second one as far as the UV resin, then the flowers, and then I cured it. And I think that looks pretty. So the next I mixed up some white epoxy resin, and I just poured it over the top of both of them, and I let them cure. And I didn't realize till after I demolded them the mistake I made. Do you know what mistake I made? So after a few hours on the heat table, they were cured, and I demolded them, and this one has a ton of overpour on it. But aren't those pretty? And now do you see what I did wrong? So the ones in the picture had clear wings. And I'm thinking, how would you get the very back of it white over the clear but not get it onto the clear wings? I'm going to have to think about that one. Unless that picture's just AI generated, I don't know. And then the overpour here on that, I tell you, just heating it up, it makes it come off so much easier. So yeah, so I think they turned out cute. I can't decide whether I want to paint the hearts or not. And the line, that yellow line, did not turn out very very dark, so I'm going over that with the marker, a little metallic marker. And then for the other one, I put kind of like a purpley pink on and take it off, and then put another marker on it. This next angel that I'm demolding, I put the Let's Resin Chameleon flakes, the new ones called Mirror White, and they are so pretty. They I don't know how to describe them, but they are just so pretty. Leave with that, I put a layer of clear resin, let that cure, and then put the chameleon flakes mixed in resin behind that as another layer. And then this last one that I'm demolding, I just had filled with clear resin and some gold foil, and then after that had cured, I backed it with white. And I think that looks pretty like that too. So I did another one the exact same way with the clear resin and the flowers, and then I popped it out of the mold, flipped it over, and just put UV resin everywhere except the wings. And the reason I popped it out of the mold is because for some reason it had pulled back away from the mold. I don't know if I put the UV light on the clear resin for too long or what, and I didn't want the white to seep under the clear. So anyway, that's what I did. Took white UV resin and put it everywhere except for the wings, and quickly put the light on it so that the UV resin didn't run over the wings, and it worked. The only thing was, I realized when I took the light off and flipped it over the other way that I never put resin in the feet, so she doesn't have any feet, but that's okay. So for one of those angels that I just made, I decided to paint the heart gold. I really wasn't sure what color to paint it, but I think gold would be the prettiest. And then I decided to put it on this frame. In this frame, I prepared like all the other frames. I sealed the glass to the frame and took the backing off of it. And I poured my resin on first. Just kind of tipped it around, put my angel on, and then I had this glass, I think it's called Gold Fusion, from Laura's Art Corner. It's just little shards of gold glass that's real pretty, and I just sprinkled that on. Now I'm going to be pouring into the little holly leaves now, but as I'm doing that, look at what the gold glass is doing. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's starting to kind of migrate over to the side. So I had to come back every 10 or 15 minutes and kind of resituate the glass because it will move. So I didn't want to wait till it had cured a little more, because sometimes with the curing machine here, within 20 minutes you can't do anything else. So anyway, that was why I put it on right away. And then again, I got the new holly leaf molds in, so I filled those up. And you'll notice for the holly leaves, I just put a little bit in each one, and I bend it because where the little berries are, there are little holes in there, and to assure that the resin gets down in there, you have to do this. It took me a while to figure it out, and then after I've done that, then I fill them up the rest of the way. And then when I'm done with that, I put the cover on my curing machine, put it on for 2 hours, and I put it at the highest temperature, 149 degrees is what it goes at. For those of you who are still watching, I'm doing a giveaway for those 2 angels. So in the comments, if you comment, "I love the angels," I'll know that you have been watching my entire video, and I'll enter you into the drawing. So here's a bunch more that I'm doing, and again, I'm just putting it way in fast forward. This is over a half hour of video I have condensed down to just over 1 minute, and I'm just trying to figure out what I want to put where. And I mixed up my resin, and in the resin I'm putting the same Let's Resin chameleon flakes, the new ones, the mirror white, and is putting that down and then putting the angels on top of it. And I'm using those holly leaves that I've colored the berries red that I only have the 2 molds of. And by the time I get the other molds in the mail, I'll probably be all done with my angels. And I'm also filling up the little stands with it. And you see that one oval one has so many chameleon flakes in it, and some of the other ones don't have that many. So in a second, you'll see me transferring some of the chameleon flakes from that over into the other ones. and trying to swish them around because I think they look really pretty. It kind of looks like snow a little bit to, you know, help with the, make it look more Christmassy. So this is the next day and they're done. Isn't that cute? I think those are so pretty. And you know, I didn't put glass on anything. I just loved those little holly leaves. I just thought it added enough to it to make it look like Christmas. Look at this. I am so sloppy when I do my stuff. I always have drippings and everything else. But anyway. And this other one turned out super pretty too. I love the gold glitter around the frame. And again, these are being placed on the back of the frame. You're actually supposed to flip it and put all your stuff on the other side. But and then the thing that I love about this frame the most, or this mold the most, is it comes with the stand too. So it comes with the frame, the place where you can pour the resin to make it look like glass, and then the stand to put it in. It's everything in one. And I really like that it's attached. Then you don't lose the pieces. Isn't that pretty? And the other two, I really like those, the ones that I had just shown you, but and they do come with the stands to pour, but I just like it when it's all connected, and you'll see what I mean, because these little ones that come separate actually can deform, like this one right here. Look at how it's deformed there. I don't know what the heck happened. And so the ones that are attached really hold together better, but the only way that you get the extras for the other ones, with the gold around them, is by, you know, purchase. Well, it comes with it, but they're separate. And isn't that one pretty? And I love that because it has the stand that comes with it too. And this time I did it the same color as the outside. I must have got something on the back of this too. I just I need to slow down when I'm doing stuff. I make so many different things. And the one with the gold angel's pretty, and this is pretty. I have to put something on that. I love those chameleon flakes. And then this one's real pretty too, and this has a stand. And if you're having trouble getting it in, well, the first thing I tried to do was using the deburring tool, you know, just trying to get the excess off. And then when that didn't fit like that, then I used the heat gun and used it on the stand and on the insert to the stand, and that softened it up enough and I could push it right in. And you really do want these in there tight so that they don't fall, you know, out of there. And I really do like these smaller frames. They're really nice, especially for these angels or anything that you're doing that's fairly small. These were the very first two angels that I made with the crushed crystal, and I'm going to put these two on night lights. I'm using the J. Diction high viscosity UV resin. I'm using the high viscosity. I kind of feel like it's in your best interest to use that just because it's thicker and it's easier to control, less of a chance of it rolling off the side. Just push it up to the edges, use the kitchen I was going to say the kitchen torch, but this is actually the little barbecue lighter to get rid of any bubbles, and then just place them on there. And then I use something called Gold Fusion, which is from Laura's Art Corner, and it's a little, it's tiny flakes of gold glass, and I just sprinkle that all around onto the UV resin. And before you turn that light on, make sure those angels are positioned just right, because as soon as you turn it on, they're stuck. So, and then I just put them under the UV light. Left them on for about 3 minutes, and this Resiner's light is great for night lights because it gets it from the bottom and the top, and I think they turned out real cute. So by now I've made so many angels I'm confusing myself. I don't remember if I showed you me making this frame. So I put pearls around this one, and this would have been a real pretty idea for some of the other frames too. I've used pearls in the past and it really makes a nice frame, and it also has the crushed crystal in the resin there. And then I've got two other angels prepared because I have two other frames to put angels in. And then I'm going to be done with it. And that is one of the UV resin angels that I'm going to put in that one. So for one of the angels, I'm putting the red glitter and the Let's Resin white mirror chameleon flakes. And then for the other angel, I'm just burnishing into it the chameleon flakes from Let's Resin called, or mirror white. That's what it's called, mirror white. Real pretty. I'm shocked at how pretty it is. And I just burnished it into the angel. I had already put the golds for the hair and the wings and the feet and all that. But for that one, that's all I'm doing to it. And then going to pour resin in it. And then for the other one, I'm mixing together the red glitter, the fine red glitter, and the mirror white chameleon flakes. Next, I mixed up my resin and put a tiny bit of the eye candy frosted white mica powder. And for those of you that don't know, any of the frosted white mica powders by eye candy or by anyone else work the same as the unicorn art crushed crystal. You just put a tiny bit of it in and it'll give it a sparkly effect. It really works exactly the same. So if you already have a mica powder like that, you don't need to buy the crushed crystal. I just happened to have both. I wanted to try it and I didn't realize that it worked exactly the same. You put a little in, it gives a little sparkle. You put a lot in, it makes a nice frosted white. And when you put a lot in, it drops to the bottom. So I like to use it with the butterflies because then it gives a little sparkle to the butterflies too. So then I just put that on the one frame that I had, spread it out, put the angel on, and then I took some of the resin and I poured it in with the red glitter and the mirror white chameleon flakes, mixed that in, put a drop of glue in there, mixed it up, and poured it into the one angel. And then with the remainder of the resin that I had, I decided I didn't want to pour clear resin into the other angel that I had burnished the mirror white chameleon flakes. So I ended up pouring a little bit in a separate container and putting some white pigment paste in it and pouring that into the angel. And the remainder of the resin went into some of the stands just so that to make sure I had enough. And even if I don't use them for this project, I save them and I use them for other projects. I always keep the stands on my table in case I have extra resin. I pour it into those because I seem to always need one for something. You can put small picture frames up in them too. So they've cured now, and I really like that one with the pearls around it. I should have done more with the pearls around. I know last year when I did the reindeer ones, I did a few with pearls. I think they look real pretty, or even beads, anything a little different. And that was real cute. And then I demolded the other two and they both turned out pretty also. And then here I'm just trying to decide how they're going to go on the little frames and what holly leaves are going to go with them. And also the teeny tiny holly leaves that I have, the red berries have to be painted onto it. So I'm painting all the little red berries. I mixed up my resin. That other little mold that I have there, I put out there as an extra. It has a couple frogs in it and some lily pads. And I figure I'll just set that in there and pour any extra resin I have into it. And then I pour my resin on and put my little angels and holly leaves on. And these are the last ones I'm doing. I'm tired of doing angels. Hey everyone, so I made a few angels. And yes, I did it on purpose. So I don't know if you remember last year I did a bunch of reindeers on these frames. Reindeer molds and Hobby Lobby reindeers, and they turned out real cute. We have a Christmas party at Still Point Mission every year, the place I volunteer, and Marge makes all the decorations every year. She does such a beautiful job. And so last year I thought I would help her out and I made the reindeer one, so I thought I would do this for the Christmas in July video and just put them away for the Christmas party. Could put them out on the table and then everybody could take them, when they leave. So anyway, that's what got me started on it. And so the different molds, what I wanted to show you was, for those of you, so a bunch of you already know about the frame molds, some of you don't, but these are pretty inexpensive. You can get the two, the oval and the rectangle together with the attached stands for $8.99 on Amazon now, and I will link it in the video. And they also have the squiggly ones, I think a square and this kind of oval one, and I'll try to find that too. So yeah, real inexpensive, $8.99. The other one, which is I bought last year, but I don't think I've used it yet, is this. And the reason I like this is because now this does not have the recess in it like this does. It kind of looks like it does, but it will not hold glitter. It will go over the side as far as I know. So you have to do something like the chrome powder or something, paint it in some way, then just fill it all with resin. And the great thing is on this side it has the recess. So like this pretty blue one here, it has a little recess so you can pour the resin in. You don't have to worry about it running over, and you can just plop your little decoration right on top. So that's what I really like about that mold. And that one is on Amazon also, and that is $12.99 with the detached stand. So that's a little bit more pricey, but I really like this. I liked being able to make all different ones. So then the other ones were these ones were all from Into Resin. And these are more expensive. These are $12.99 a piece, but with my discount, they're about $10 each, or you can get all four of them for, I think, $32 with my discount. But they really are cute. And I just used two different kinds. That came right out. That fits perfect for the stand-up angel, I think. And I love the little stands on them that come with them. And this shell one I haven't used yet, but I'm going to use that in some future videos. So I thought these were pretty cool too. Yes, they're more expensive, but I really enjoyed using these, especially with these little stands on the bottom. I thought they were so cute. And then as far as the angel molds go, so these two angel molds are from Into Resin. These are 12 something, but with the discount about $10. And so I thought those were pretty cool. And then this mold here is right on Amazon, and I'm sure it's only like $6.99 or something. And then the big angel, oh, I didn't show you this one that I did. So you can also do, do your mold just a solid color and put your angel on it and do like a rhinestone chain around the outside. I thought that turned out real pretty. So this angel is also an Into Resin mold, and I'm not sure the price on that, but I will leave the link and the discount code for it. So that's super pretty too. And I mean, you can just... There's just so many different things you can do, and they don't have to be for Christmas either. They can be, you can do them with flowers. Just take the holly leaves off and decorate them a different way. So especially like this, if you didn't have the holly leaves on there, it would be, and put some like flowers or something around it. You could do it for any time of the year. You could sell them. So that was that one. Where's the stand? I had it in a stand, I thought. Oh, it was up here. So, yeah, so the other thing is, yeah, I did them all different. So like this one, I did the pearls, which I think is super pretty, and that doesn't look Christmassy at all, I don't think. And so I was trying, I was trying to recreate this one and messed up and ended up with the one without the clear wings, but still pretty. And so this one I did on frames, and you can do all of them on frames. It was just, the reason I did this like this was to show you that you could, but I wanted to show you what it would look like with some glass. You could sprinkle some glass around the outside. I didn't use any glass on any of these just because I really like the holly leaves. And if you look back at some of my videos, I have cut holly leaves out of stained glass, which you could do yourself. just cut a bunch of holly leaves, put one here and put like 3 red beads. That would be a way to add glass to it. So I was just making so many, I just wanted to use these. And teeny tiny holly leaves out of stained glass are really hard to cut too. And some of these I needed, you know, teeny tiny ones. But I just thought that was so cute like that. I wanted to show you that you could do it like that. And then, so where was the one? So I did end up doing, yeah, and these stands work good for small frames like that too. So, yeah, this is the one that I finally figured out how to make the wings clear. So after I poured you know, made the face white and all that, and then did the clear UV resin, well, it had pulled away under the UV light. It kind of pulled away from the mold. So I popped it out of the mold because I was afraid the white that I put on it was going to run under it. So, so then I just did it with UV resin on the back, and that way I could quickly cure it and keep it from running over the wings. And that's how I did that. Now that one I forgot her feet, but she's still cute. And then these I did with the gold foil. I didn't like the way they turned out at all. Kind of can't even tell what they are, but just so you know. And then the other thing is all the different powders that I use. So I started out with that Baltic Day chrome powder. And that's very similar to the Let's Resin chrome powders. I really couldn't see a difference except for they're smaller containers and you got more colors. These are larger containers, you get fewer colors, but you know, you don't want to run out of a color either. So, and you saw, if you watched the whole video, you saw where I did the samples. So there's 2 sets of these chrome powders, and I ordered 2. I got them in the mail, and I said, did I order 2 of the same thing? Because they look identical to this. And I thought, that's weird. So I had to go back on Amazon and look. And one of them, they're different. First of all, they're different colors in both of them. One of them has just the chrome powders. The other one has chrome powders and 2 holographic powders. And not sure if I can really tell if the holographic really looked that much different. I think the silver might have been holographic. But anyway, yeah, so these are super pretty. They go on real easy, but they're very intense. So you got to make sure you tap that powder out of there and do all the cleanup around the edges, unless it'll mix in with your resin and it will show up. And I've ruined, well, I don't know if I ruined, but I messed up another project that I did a few videos ago where it leaked into the other resin and you could see it through it and it just didn't look nice. So these are really intense. You have to do the cleanup, but they're very pretty. And then the other ones that I got was the, this was the white, is it called White Mirror or something? I don't have my glasses on. Oh, Mirror White Chameleon flakes from Let's Resin. And these are new, I guess, because I had never seen them before. And so I did those on several of these to make it kind of look like snow. So I thought that was real pretty, see around there. And then the other thing so I used it there, and I also used it to varnish in the color on this angel. So it's the same product, 2 different uses. So I used it to create some snow or special effects, and then also for the to varnish into the angel. And isn't that pretty? It looks like a mirror. So anyway, I thought that was pretty. So I used that in some of them, and some of them I used, boy, I didn't put my glasses on. Some of them I used the crushed crystal. And I don't know if you can see it that well in this. But if you look close, the crushed crystals around in that resin there. And I think I can show it to you better in one of the angels. I have a couple of angels here. So this one has the Let's Resin Chameleon Mirror White. Isn't that pretty? Those are the flakes. And then this has the crushed crystal. It's more subtle. So that's the difference between the 2. And they're both pretty. So, and I'm not sure, and then the other, so the crushed crystal is this. A lot of people use this Unicorn Art Crushed Crystal, but I don't know, I've said this in a few videos, if you have any of the, I have a bunch of the eye candy white sparkly mica powders, and it's the same thing. People don't realize that you can, if you just use a pinch of either of these, it'll give it a nice crystally effect, sparkly effect, and it kind of hides the micro bubbles. If you use a lot of it, it gives you a very white frosted effect, super pretty. Whoops, there she goes, like that. And I think that's real pretty too. So you can use it for a bunch of different things. This little girl fell. So anyway, I'm not sure which is less expensive. They might be about the same, but if you have one, you don't have to have both, in other words, is what I'm trying to tell you. So, so anyway, yeah, that fell over. Did I show you this one? This is the one with the pearls. And this doesn't look Christmassy at all, does it? So you could make these Christmassy or not, whichever way you want, with the flowers and whatnot. So, and then I did it on the nightlight too. I don't know if I showed you that. And the other thing I did, I wasn't sure. So I did faces on some of them, and some of them I didn't. And I thought, I don't know if I like the faces or not the faces. So like that one I did the face, and this one I didn't. So I don't know. What do you guys like better? Yeah, and that's another thing. I use the, in some of them I use the glitter. I can't think of the word. The sparkly, the real fine glitter. Some of them I use the chunky glitter, some the fine glitter, and I like the fine glitter better. So I'm not sure, and I think that looks real pretty in the angels too. So yeah, each of them are different. These I did, this was the other mold that I did, which is super pretty for angels. I don't know, just so many, there's just so many different things that you can do with them. I think I told you everything. I don't know. I know, the one thing I wanted to explain to you was this mold here. So the way it's supposed to be used is you're supposed to pour your color or whatever you're going to put around the perimeter, and then after that cures, you pour the clear resin. Then you pop it out of the mold, flip it over, and put your stuff on the other side. And it has an area on the other side where it kind of indents all the way around, so it creates the frame, even though it looks like a frame this way. Well, one day, someone was showing me, I don't know, on Facebook or something, what they made, and was putting something on the back of it. And I said, I think you're doing it backwards. And she said, yeah, but it's easier that way. So that's when I started doing it, because there's really no recess on this side. I guess it would catch the extra resin drips on that side, but it's harder. Whereas if you keep it flat this way in the mold, you can pour it just a little bit below the top of the lip. And then after that's cured, you can put your things in, put a little bit more resin on it and put your things in. It will stick to it, and it still looks like a frame's around the outside. So ever since she told me that, I've been doing it that way. That was what I wanted to tell you about this, and I forgot to. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Come check out our Facebook page, amazing group over there, and I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching.